Welcome to Spotlight on Women, a podcast produced by NRP's Women's Inclusion Network. I'm Shanice Settle, Director of Corporate Communications and Marketing for the NRP Group and a proud member of WIN. WIN's mission is to hire, develop, and promote women at NRP through education, awareness, visibility, and programming. Join us as we shine a light on some of the NRP's exceptional leaders. We hope their stories elevate and inspire you.
I think that I never really learned how to be a good leader until I came here.
That was Jeanine Fox, NRP's Senior Regional Property Manager. Today, Jeanine is going to share what it has been like starting in a new role and some of the tools she's learned that have helped her to become a successful leader. And today I'm excited to have one of our phenomenal leaders, Jeanine Fox, who is our new Senior Regional Property Manager. So thanks, Jeanine, for coming in.
Thank you, Shanice. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, this is so great that we have the opportunity to do this. I've worked with you, of course, as doing communications and PR, and you are so thorough and you're so easy and fun to work with. Obviously, I'm not the only person who thinks that way. So it's great that we were able in this spotlight to have our colleagues and team members here. We asked them who they would nominate. So we didn't want to pick anyone for when we went out and asked people here at NRP who they wanted to spotlight. And we talked to Cindy Miller, Senior Community Manager, who sent in the nomination for you and talked to her about why she wanted to highlight you.
Hello, my name is Cindy Miller, and I serve as Senior Community Manager at the NRP Group. I had the pleasure of nominating Jeanine Fox for WIN's Spotlight on Women series, and I'm here today to help shine a light on her many accomplishments. I worked with Jeanine as my regional manager, but she was recently promoted to a senior regional manager. In my interactions with Jeanine, I have found that she embodies many of NRP's core values. Jeanine is always looking forward on how to improve. She has made such an impact on our team that we can continuously move forward ourselves. She gave us the learning tools to keep abreast of the changing times and workflow. This was especially evident during COVID-19. As our RPM, she was always there for us and willing to help make us a better team. No question was too small. The more we asked, the more knowledge and tools she would give us. Jeanine is always professional, honest, and fun. It is for these reasons and many more that I celebrate and recognize Jeanine Fox's significant contributions to our organization.
How did it feel hearing her nominate you?
It is emotional. It is so emotional when you have this great team, and Cindy is one of my greatest assets on my team. Say that about you is just, it gets your heart, because you sometimes want to make sure that everybody around you feels how you feel, and understands your passion. And for somebody to pick that up is, it really makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing. Like they really understand where I'm coming from. And sometimes I'm tough, sometimes we get into tough situations and you have to lead people through it. But just to feel that connection to my team is super important to me. So emotional would be my best word.
I saw some of the tears, but it was really sweet to watch. It was really sweet to watch. I know everyone listening can't see them, but it was really sweet to watch everyone. So let's back up a little bit and let's talk about your role at NRP, or roles at NRP, since you just had a recent promotion. But can you tell us about what role you started in at NRP and how long you've been here?
I've been with NRP for 4 years, and I started as a regional manager. I had a Cleveland kind of Kent portfolio. It's in the affordable, in our affordable product line. And most recently moved to a senior regional manager, managing regional managers. And so as a regional manager, it's just really dealing with the day-to-day and making sure the properties are running smoothly, that we deliver on our core values to not only our employees, but also our residents. That's super important for me. So in my new role as senior regional manager, I'm working with the regional managers to make sure we're delivering on that same piece to our employees and residents, but also trying to do things that impact our organization as a whole. Trying to make sure that as we shape who we are as NRP, that represents really what we want and translates all the way down to a site level or to an employee level. So it's just really working with the support teams and with senior management to talk about the things that I feel like in NRP we are in search of constant perfection, and I love that. We never settle and we never stop. I think that if you could take NRP and you could package it, it'd be the best property management company ever out there. But we're always looking for improvement. We're always looking at ways to make ourselves better. And I'm very interested to do that on a bigger scale for NRP.
And I should also mention that you are an award-winning leader here at NRP because you just won the Regional Property Manager of the Year award at our annual gala. So I also have to highlight you for that. And that's such a wonderful accomplishment. So I know a lot of people listening with your recent promotion and with this award are probably wondering what are some of those successful lessons that you learned, or lessons I should say, that have made you such a successful leader? Like, what can you share that you learned at NRP that's helped your career here?
I think the biggest thing is the use of the people around you. I was very fortunate that Mickey Welker was my boss, and she's a person that loves to grow people, loves to educate, loves to train, and she's very resourceful. And so having her as a boss and really listening to the things that she was giving me to do and the tasks, and being willing to kind of take on more to get a broader understanding was one thing that I really think impacted being able to move forward. Is kind of getting out of your own box. As a regional, you have your team, your sites, your properties, but having that opportunity to kind of grow into and look at other regions, other portfolios and other pieces of the country, and what their challenges are and what they're experiencing and what their wins are has really, really helped me. So being able to get out to other portfolios has helped. The other person is, I will say, Brandon Underall. He has been an amazing person for me personally because he is constantly giving you the pursuit of learning. And I think there was a point where I got off of reading, and he's really gives you books that make your mind think and make you challenge the way you think and who you are as a leader in his own pursuit for perfection. So being able to absorb everybody else's qualities and their advice, and being able to take that. There were pieces where I had to challenge myself and things that this is the way I do things, or this is who I am. And being able to challenge those to be able to grow as a leader was very important in this role, but even as a regional. I know we have a lot of our community managers who really aspire to move into a district manager or regional role. And it's really just challenging what you're doing and who you are and how you get to the best leader you can be.
So it sounds like you took on more work in a way that you already kind of had. Like you were saying, you challenged yourself, but so in addition to your day-to-day, you were reading books that kind of helped you to upskill, as you can say, or expanding your knowledge. So it seems like you had to be outgoing in order to grow. Does that sound right?
Absolutely. There were times like Brandon was giving us books to read he would say, read this in 2 or 3 weeks, and you'd be on the road, maybe traveling outside of your portfolio, listening to a book on tape 24/7 with earbuds in, trying to absorb that information. But for me, one of the books that he gave me, and it sounds silly, I've read it 4 times because every time I reread it, I find something about it that inspires me to think another way or to challenge myself as a leader.
Which book was that?
What Got You Here Won't Get You There. So I feel like I should probably be on the marketing team for that book because I give everybody that book to read.
I'm writing it down now.
It is a great book to challenge yourself as a leader and really analyze if the skills that you made you successful in maybe your current role or another role are going to be what's going to make you successful in your next role or the role you want to achieve. It's a great read. It's kind of a short read, great kind of book on tape audio. It's on Audible and all the major sources, but it's a really kind of enchanting book to read. And I just keep rereading it because every time I read it, I find something else that I'm like, oh, I should do that.
Right. I have to check it out. It sounds like a good book, especially during this time now. I think, everyone's taking advantage more of podcasts and books on tape. So that sounds good. You talked about working with great leaders here at NRP, and I'm sure throughout your career. Is there any great career advice that you could share from, maybe someone gave it to you, or maybe it's just something that you picked up that you felt, was good advice that you've given to someone else? Could you share great advice that you've received?
I think probably the best advice, and I think this goes in life and it goes in business, is treat everybody like your customer. So in what we do, our customers are our customers, they're our residents, right? But for me, I had a boss when I first started in property management. He was amazing. And he saw something in me and he would invest so much time in me. And he looked at it and said, in life, you treat everybody as your customer. And for me, anybody asking me for something or needing something from me, it's a very how can you help approach to what you're doing. And if you take that in life, you take that in your personal life with your spouse, your kids, your mom, your parents, and your coworkers, your employees, your support department, it is something that translates in all aspects of life. And I think why I love NRP so much is from top to bottom, we live in that space. We live in that space of how can I help you? If you call a support department, you call anyone at NRP and you say, I need something, I need help doing this. Everyone is so willing to help. So having that culture already, and I think that's what kind of sets NRP apart from any other property management company, is you always have this bottleneck in departments and within the company, and it stalls the success. And we come with a culture that's how can I help you, and treating each person like our customer. I think that's where you get the best environment and the most growth and being innovative and not bottlenecking people or stopping people from bright ideas and moving the company forward. And it's truly one thing that coming into an organization that has that feels like I'm home. It feels like home.
I would agree with that. We definitely have well, obviously, if you're here, you know that if you're listening and you're not a part of NRP, we have a serious team building culture here, but it's great. It makes for a wonderful product. So we like to finish every interview by asking what is one of the greatest insights that you can share. So that doesn't necessarily have to be, or work. It could be life or, something else. But are there any insights, anything that you have gained or experienced that you think would help someone who was listening to this, who is working on their career path or trying to balance a lot now as we're kind of in challenging times with COVID? Anything during this time, any insights that you've learned that you can share with the audience?
So for me, it's build your own box. And I kind of live in this motto that I feel like no matter who you are, whether you're male, female, your race, your ethnicity, whatever it is, your orientation, your gender identity, all of those things that we're working in the world in now, is the world is always trying to put you in a box. Because you're this, you have to be that. And being able to be the person that defines the walls of your box is where I live. Just because you're a male doesn't mean you're not as good as parenting as a female. And just because you're a female doesn't mean you can't be a car mechanic. I think the world tries to place people in those boxes, and would just encourage everybody to put your own box together And don't let someone tell you because you are this or that this is what your life is going to look like. For me, I grew up in poverty. My family slept in a car. I had a tough childhood. And for me, that's the world putting you in a box that says you're going to be generationally poor for the rest of your life. You statistically are going to be this type of person. And for me, it's stepping outside of those walls and saying, I am not going to let, because I'm female, I'm not going to let somebody tell me I can't fix something. And because I was poor, it doesn't mean that I have to be poor. And sometimes building that box, there's a lot of challenges, and I'm a very underdog person. If you've met me, I really try to speak my voice and support causes that go for the underdog and that level the playing field for people that for years had no field. So I think when I look at my insight and my life, your experiences, the people in it, all bring you to the ability to not just sit in the box that the world's going to put you in, and taking a lot of note of leaders like, Martin Luther King and Gloria Allred, and looking at the box the world would have put those people in. At the time, Martin Luther King, he would have just been there. But looking at him creating his own box and saying, I'm not going in that one, this is the one I'm going in, changed our world. And everybody has that ability and owns that responsibility to make sure you define who you are.
Great insight. I love that. Like, you define yourself by your own terms. I think that's great advice for everyone. But as we're spotlighting women and we're seeing all the glass ceilings that women have been breaking through, especially now, it's wonderful that you can share that. And I'm excited we had the chance to highlight you today.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate the nomination from Cindy. And I appreciate everything that NRP brings into my world and allowing me to kind of fuel my soul with my work.
Thanks, Jeanine.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Jeanine, for letting us shine our spotlight on you this week. From our time with Jeanine, we learned that being a leader takes skill, but it also takes great initiative. To grow, you have to find the resources to sharpen your skills, including books and building connections with those who can develop your talents. Thank you for joining us for WIN's Spotlight on Women podcast. For more information on the NRP Group or the Women's Inclusion Network, visit our website at nrpgroup.com. We'll see you for our next episode.